Hey, Hound Dogs, I'm David Hankins,
I'm Paul Hankins.
and you're on the air with Power Squared. Tonight we're talking about Megadeth
Yes.
because they just released their final album and they're
Yes.
going on their final tour
Yes.
soon. And Paul is a fan.
Yes. Uh, my, back in episode 189, I did a Metallica tier list because of the album 72 Seasons. And Metallica is my favorite band. They're still my favorite band. Uh, However, I decided because of the final Megadeth album called Megadeth, I would do something similar and rank the Megadeth albums.
Okay.
If you will. I like Megadeth, but not everything has stuck with me as much as Metallica. I think that's just a difference in how much I've listened to the Metallica library versus the Megadeth library.
Now, you've seen Megadeth live
Yes.
at least once because we have the t shirt.
Yeah.
And I saw them in a concert film.
Yeah,
Big Four.
they broadcast the Big Four live in Sofia, Bulgaria, in theaters, so you kind of saw them live.
Yeah, yeah. It was, and
But I wanted to see them in person.
right. And David, the thing I remember most about David Mustaine, not only could he play guitar, but his mane of hair he had.
Yeah.
It was like, wow.
He still has it.
Yeah. But anyway, so just for reference, if somebody like Metallica has, if you don't like Metallica, you've heard Inner Sandman.
Yeah.
Is there a Megadeth song that everybody would have heard potentially?
I would say either Symphony of Destruction or Trust.
Okay.
Trust was their big single for Cryptic Writings, but the album Countdown to Extinction was their most commercially successful.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say I would lean more towards Symphony of Destruction.
Okay.
Right, so for the purpose of this, I re-listened to every album, specifically the original mixes, where possible. I still want to. I have some of the 2004 mixes, but those have changes, which is why I actually still kind of want to collect all of those. I'll also mention, just as a blanket statement, that songs with ellipses in the title are typically in two parts. For example, Holy Wars, The Punishment Due is Holy Wars and The Punishment Due.
Okay.
And Megadeth songs have covered a variety of topics, including like nuclear war or politics. But some of them are about Dave Mustaine's ex-girlfriend, Diana.
Okay.
It was not a good relationship.
I take that. Now, he's also had a bad relationship with his first band.
Yeah. He was in Metallica. He will not let you forget that. And they kicked him out basically because he was difficult to work with.
Not because he wasn't good, he was just hard to work with.
Yeah. And he co-wrote a few Metallica songs, and they had to, after some argument from him, they gave him credit on the first three albums.
Oh, wow. So that was a lot of work before.
Yeah, well, some riffs here and there.
Right. But if he's if his songs appeared over 3 albums yet, obviously was around for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, something else about Megadeth is Dave Mustaine is the only constant member. So because of that, I decided to make a cheat sheet that included the lineup changes.
Okay.
So the first album was Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good from 1985. The lineup on this one was Dave Mustaine, David Ellefson, Chris Poland, and Gar Samuelson.
Okay.
There are actually multiple mixes of this album, so the one I'm holding on camera is specifically The Final Kill, which is from 2018. A couple of notable things about this album are the song Mechanics. He played was reworked into the Four Horsemen.
Okay.
So this was his original vision of that. And the song These Boots is a cover of These Boots Are Made for Walking.
Oh, the Nancy Sinatra hit.
He changed some of the lyrics, and eventually the original owner did not like that. So he had to remove it from some pressings, and then on the 2002 remix, which I also own, it was presented in a censored form, where it bleeps all of his altered lyrics. And then for the final kill, it is an uncensored version of These Boots, but he re-recorded the vocals so the lyrics were closer to the original.
I see. All right, that's an odd choice. I'm a little surprised.
Yeah. Now, as for where I would tier it, I'm sure some people won't like this, but I would give it a B. This album has a good, to me, it sounded like it had a punk influence, which makes sense because Dave Mustaine likes punk. In that the songs are short, to the point, and like punk, the songs like don't waste your time, but they manage to work in like a lot of solos.
Well, the difference between him and punk, a lot of punk artists or musicians was he could actually play.
Yeah. The other thing is with the early Megadeth albums, again, not everything like sticks for me. But I still thought Killing Is My Business was a really strong start.
Okay.
I decided to also write down some highlights as I went along.
All right.
For this album, it would be Last Rites / Love to Death, and the title track, Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good.
All right.
Next, we have Peace Sells, But Who's Buying? From 1986. And it is the same lineup as the original album. This also includes another cover, which is I Ain't Superstitious by Willie Dixon.
Oh, wow. That I could see.
Yeah. I gave this one an A.
Wow.
Of the first three albums, this one is easily the strongest. And it has better production. The Final Kill version of Killing Is My Business does a good job of like bringing out the full sound, but at the same time, can't completely get over the muddy production. This one, it came out better, and you can hear more of the jazz influence from Samuelson and Poland.
And now, who produces these albums? Is it him, or is it somebody?
It depends.
Okay.
It's changed over time. I think he might have produced one. I think he produced one or two of them himself.
Okay.
But this was an improvement over Killing My Business, and the song "Peace Sells" also stood out to me because it was a critique of the government while also challenging metalhead stereotypes.
Okay.
The highlights for me off of this one were "Wake Up Dead," "Peace Sells," and "Devil's Island."
All right. And so that was 86.
Yes. So 1988 was "So Far So Good, So What." The lineup on this one was Dave Mustaine, David Ellefson, and then it was Jeff Young and Chuck Miller. This one was recorded during a transitional period for the band between firings of personnel.
Yes, since that's different personnel, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, but like Chris Poland was like hawking equipment for drug money.
Oh, God. That's too bad.
And I forgot what happened with Gar Samuelson. But so this one kind of has a muddy production again because it was kind of rushed out.
Uh-huh.
And this one also has a cover of "Anarchy in the UK" by Sex Pistols.
Now, that's my example of a punk band that really didn't play their instruments too well. I mean, they played them, but they weren't great. Yeah, so I'd be interested to hear that. I actually saw the Sex Pistols live.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How was it?
Very loud.
So I gave this one a B. It's not as much of a classic as Peace Sells, but it was a stronger album than I initially remembered. And it still has a good opening instrumental and strong riffs, some strong riffs throughout. I wrote here that the lyrics for Hook in Mouth address the censorship of music brought on by Tipper Gore, including the infamous parental advisory sticker that we still see today.
Mm-hmm.
But considering modern media censorship, it still felt relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Of the original three, this is still good.
Mm-hmm.
The highlights for me were Into the Lungs of Hell, Set the World Afire, In My Darkest Hour, and Hook in Mouth.
Okay. And what'd you get it in the tier?
A B.
B. Okay.
And then we have Rust in Peace. Okay, so I'll just say right now with Rust in Peace, there's every other Megadeth album, and then there's Rust in Peace.
All right.
Is
that a good thing?
Well, just try not to compare any of them to Rust in Peace.
Okay.
This is from 1990, and is often considered the best album in their lineup, or depending on who you ask, one of the best metal albums ever made.
Wow.
It has Dave Mustaine and David Ellefson, but it also has starts the tenure of Marty Friedman and Nick Menza, who were with the band the longest. There is a notable story that I wrote here. According to Marty Friedman, when he performed the solo for Tornado of Souls, Dave Mustaine listened to it, turned around, and silently shook his hand. At that moment, Friedman knew he was the perfect choice for the band. There's also a notable The Onion headline. Humanity still producing new art as though Megadeth's Rust in Peace doesn't already exist. And I wrote that portions of Hangar 18 were used in Metallica's Call of Cthulhu, but they were played differently.
Okay.
So if the Hangar 18 can sound like Call of Cthulhu, but in reality, Call of Cthulhu sounds like Hangar 18.
Okay.
So on the tier list, I gave it an S.
The
highest tier.
Yeah, this is, I mean, if I had to name a Megadeth album, this would probably be the one I would know.
Yeah.
Just because the name is Rust.
Basically, this is when they're firing on all cylinders. There is not a single wasted second or song. And Mustaine and Friedman were an unstoppable duo. And I can't praise this enough. And even the 2004 remaster, which changes some things, is still the best one because the album is just that good.
All right.
But I would recommend the original mix, just because it's the original unaltered version of it.
Yeah.
Now for highlights, I wrote the whole thing, but if I were to call off specific songs, it would be Holy Wars, The Punishment Due, Hangar 18, which is one of my favorite Megadeth songs, and Tornado of Souls.
Okay.
Tornado of Souls is considered to have one of the best solos ever.
Okay. Is it Marty Friedman or is it
Marty Friedman?
Okay, that's his solo. Okay.
Yeah. So that lineup from Rust in Peace continues with Countdown to Extinction.
Okay.
Now this is from 1992 and is one of the band's most commercially successful albums. Notably, it also begins the band's gradual slide into melodic/rock territory during the 90s. So, I guess you could say this officially starts the 90s era of Megadeth.
Okay.
If you will, there are two Megadeths.
Okay.
There's thrash Megadeth and 90s Megadeth. Which albums you think are better depends on your preference.
Right.
I prefer thrashy Megadeth, but as I re-listened to the albums, I realized how strong the 90s stuff actually was.
Style.
Yeah. So for Countdown to Extinction, I gave it an A.
Okay. Still pretty good.
Yeah. It experiments in places, like with tempo and lyrical content. For example, the title track has an environmental message, but it still sounds undeniably Megadeth. And it manages to balance melodic and thrashy material very well.
Okay.
Excuse me. It starts strong with Skin on My Teeth and ends really well with Ashes in Your Mouth, which I think is an underrated song. And highlights for me were Skin on My Teeth, Symphony of Destruction, which is probably one of the more recognizable songs, Sweating Bullets, and Ashes in Your Mouth.
Okay.
Next up is Euthanasia
Okay.
from 1994. Same lineup. And this is when Megadeth started hitting a more mainstream sound. I gave it a B.
Okay.
This continues their gradual slide into melodic territory, but it still sounds like it's still Megadeth. Only Megadeth could have made an album like Euthanasia. This is also like arguably peak Dave Mustaine vocals.
Okay.
As you can hear his highest range here.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't ever sing like super high notes, but he brings out the best in his voice.
Okay.
Which, by the way, Mustaine is aware that his voice is pretty unusual for music, but it works for Megadeth. And when you if you get a hang of it, you realize you can't really imagine anyone else singing
right
in Megadeth.
Right. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Now, Euthanasia is not one of my personal favorite albums, but I could hear more of its strengths as I listened to it again, and it leaned into them pretty well. The highlights for me were Reckoning Day, A Tout Le Monde, and Victory.
Okay. This is the same lineup?
Yes.
Okay.
Then we once again have the same lineup with 1997's Cryptic Writings. Something I decided to note was Mustaine had recorded a Spanish version of the lead single Trust to appeal to the chorus is in Spanish. I actually listened to that version as one of the 2004 remaster bonus tracks.
Right.
And it was weird just hearing the chorus in Spanish. It was like English lyrics and then Spanish.
Maybe you could have pulled off the lyrics in Spanish.
Yeah, I actually thought the song worked better in English. But I don't know, maybe people like the Spanish version.
Well, you're trying to appeal. The idea of appealing to people who speak another language isn't new, but it's kind of cool we tried.
Yeah. Now, I'll mention at this point that when I was re-listening to the albums, I also actually read the lyrics more closely. And Cryptic Writing sounded like a very personal album from Dave Mustaine. This is when it's a pretty melodic album by this point, but you can still sense some thrash in there.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, the instrumentation is on point, and it was still overall better than I had remembered. That's why I gave it a B.
Mm-hmm.
The highlights were Trust, Use the Man, The Disintegrators, and A Secret Place.
Okay.
Okay, then we get to Risk, which is from 1999, and it's no longer Nick Menza on drums. This time it's Jimmy DeGrasso. And for the longest time, this was considered one of their worst albums.
Okay.
Or perhaps their worst album overall.
Okay. Why?
This is more of a rock album than a thrash metal album.
Okay.
The others, starting from Countdown, started to slide more into rock. This is just rock.
Okay.
Listening to it again after a lot of time has passed. When I first listened to it, I really didn't like it just because it sounded so different from everything. But now that I'm much older than when I originally listened to it, I gave it a C.
All right.
As opposed to like a D or an F.
Right.
Because it wasn't nearly as bad as I remembered, because it's kind of okay in a vacuum as a 90s rock album. It's kind of like trying to recapture Metallica's Load and Reload. Arguably not as well, but still just solid if you just want a decent 90s rock album. I think what the real issue is that it's under the Megadeth name.
Right.
Because the Megadeth name has certain expectations that this just could not fulfill. I also got the impression that the album turned out the way it did because of the producer.
Okay.
His name, I think it was Bud Prager.
Okay.
But he had a strong hand in how this turned out, and no one was really super satisfied with it at the end.
It's too bad.
But in any case, it was, again, at least decent. The highlights for me were, this may sound crazy for some people, but Insomnia, Crush 'Em, and I'll Be There.
Okay. Why are those?
Well, because Insomnia, there's a whole chorus, or it's like insomnia, which people just don't really like. Crush 'Em is kind of trying to be
okay.
So he's a hockey fan.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think anyone really complains about I'll Be There, but
Right.
Those first two are like all right.
Okay. I noticed that there's like, you may not know the answer to this, there's like a couple years apart between albums. Were they just like touring all the time, or?
Yeah, I think touring had something to do with it.
Okay.
Okay, then the last album of, you could say, the original Megadeth was The World Needs a Hero, which had Al Pitrelli on guitar and Jimmy DeGrasso returning on drums. This is the only album with Al Pitrelli on guitar. This is the longest album in their discography at 57 minutes and 49 seconds.
Oh.
It features a sequel to Hangar 18 called Return to Hangar, and it was the final album before the band's hiatus.
Okay.
Listening to this again, I give this a C as well. The only thing is, it's got some. It was trying to go back to the thrash sound, but it couldn't quite escape the pop structure that Dave Mustaine had ingrained in him by this point.
All right.
And the real issue is that it's just it couldn't quite recapture the magic of the first four albums, so it's just more forgettable.
Okay.
So I don't have too much to say about it. However, I did still have highlights. Moto Psycho, Dread and the Fugitive Mind, and Return to Hangar.
Okay.
Return to Hangar isn't as good as Hangar 18, but if you listen to the two of them put together, it's actually alright.
And the tier you gave it?
I gave it a C.
Okay.
Before I get into the post-hiatus stuff, I will mention I did listen to a couple other albums as just kind of a bonus.
Okay.
I found this in-store play sampler.
Okay.
called Old Testaments. It was made to promote cryptic writings.
Okay.
Basically, the record store would play this to promote
Right.
cryptic writings, while also playing songs from a couple other albums.
Oh. Okay.
And interestingly, this is all original mixes.
Huh, that's weird. So if you bought the album, you wouldn't get that sound.
Well,
I'm just asking.
you would. It's just this has the original mixes of the songs featured.
All right.
There's also Hidden Treasures, which is a collection of B-sides and rarities.
Okay.
It's largely songs that were made for soundtracks for like movies.
Okay.
For example, Go to Hell was for Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey because it was originally going to be called Bill and Ted
Go to Hell.
Go to Hell. It also has a couple covers, including Paranoid by Black Sabbath.
Okay.
And I didn't tier this because it's a neat bonus. I'd still recommend listening to this. It's a way to have all of these songs in like one spot. And I also have Duke Nukem music to score by.
Okay.
Because Megadeth did the Duke Nukem theme, otherwise known as Grab Bag.
Okay.
So it's the Megadeth version of that theme, and it's done really well.
Now I remember this is a game that you waited like a decade for it to come back.
That was Duke Nukem Forever.
Okay.
This was during a different era of Duke Nukem.
Okay. All right.
So back to the studio albums.
You mentioned a hiatus.
Yes.
Why did they take a hiatus?
Dave Mustaine fell asleep with his left arm over the back of a chair at a rehab center.
Mm-hmm.
And he was diagnosed with radial neuropathy because of that, which prevented him from playing guitar.
Okay.
It cut off the circulation in his arm for too long.
Wow.
So because of that, he disbanded Megadeth from 2002 to 2004 during his recovery. And in that time, he basically had to relearn guitar.
Wow.
It's like he could still play it, but he had to get the muscle memory back.
Wow. That would be devastating for...
Yeah. And he was told at the time, you'll never be able to play guitar again.
Oh.
Well, he went on for another, 20 years.
Yeah.
So the first album from after that was The System Has Failed from 2004. Okay. Interestingly, so this has a whole new lineup. It has Chris Poland back on guitar.
Okay.
They were cool then. And then it had Jimmy Lee Sloas on bass and Vinny Colaiuta on drums. Those last two were session musicians for the album.
Okay.
Interestingly, this is actually an album called something like Dave Mustaine Chapter 1.
Mm-hmm.
But the label was like, you still owe us one more Megadeth album. So he's like, fine, I'll make it a Megadeth album.
So he never did a solo record?
No. He has... I read that now he is considering one.
Right.
Anyway, notably, the song Back in the Day was used in the penultimate Duck Dodgers episode, specifically the segment In Space No One Can Hear You Rock, in which Dodgers resurrects Megadeth because they need an incredibly loud noise to destroy a Martian sonic weapon, and nobody rocks harder, faster, or louder than Dave Mustaine.
Right.
And Mustaine voiced himself in the episode.
I have the Blu-ray over there.
Yes. Duck Dodgers. So...
That's pretty funny. Yeah, he sounded just like a normal guy.
Yeah. So I gave this an A. This was a return to form for Megadeth. It's got a really good and I think underrated selection of songs. This is actually one of my favorite albums.
Okay.
Just because the songs are, it's a really good collection. Chris Poland showed that he was still really good for the band.
Right.
And there is still a splash of radio-friendly stuff, but overall the album is like very re-listenable. And I keep thinking about some of these songs over and over, so I think that says something.
Yeah, it does. If it's, you think about it.
Yeah, so that showed that Mustaine still got it.
All right.
I have a few highlights. Blackmail the Universe, Die Dead Enough, Kick the Chair, The Scorpion, and Back in the Day.
Okay.
I'll also mention Die Dead Enough was originally recorded for a Lara Croft movie, but it didn't go anywhere because they wanted to pay him too little for it.
Uh-huh.
So he put it on here.
Right.
Also, the Duck Dodgers episode was actually my introduction to Megadeth. So Back in the Day was very likely the first Megadeth song I ever heard.
Uh-huh.
So I also actually learned how to play that on guitar.
Cool.
Okay, then we have United Abominations,
All right.
which is from 2007. And it features James Lomenzo on bass for the first time.
And we've actually met him.
Yes, he is a cool guy. It also has the Drover brothers Glenn and Sean on guitar and drums. This includes a remake of A Tout Le Monde as a duet called A Tout Le Monde Set Me Free, featuring Christina Scabia from Lacuna Coil. Hopefully I didn't butcher any of that. The song Gears of War was intended for the game of the same name, but it didn't make it in because the vocals, which were a late request, weren't finished in time.
Okay.
And the title track was political enough that it got a response from the UN. Some, including Mustaine himself, concluded that the response ended up confirming some of Mustaine's accusations. I do not want to go into that because this is not that kind of podcast.
Right.
So I just thought that was notable enough. It was like, the UN doesn't normally respond to
Rock albums.
Yeah. I don't know why they bothered, but
Maybe somebody, one of their spokespersons was into metal music and heard it. Well, hey, wait a minute.
it just sounds,
Yeah.
it's just weird.
Yeah, it is.
Too weird to not mention, at least. I gave this a B. This is easily one of their most political albums. So, again, I'm not going to get too into that. But it does have good material. It's just I wouldn't immediately replay this like I would some of the other ones. Right. Only because some of the songs, like the lyrics, don't really have as much flow as some of the other albums.
Okay.
I still had some highlights. Sleepwalker, United Abominations, because regardless of lyrical content, it's still kind of a banger song. And Gears of War.
Okay. Would that have worked well in the game Gears of War?
I think so. The rap song that ended up being included in Gears of War as the theme was fine. It's just I prefer the Megadeth song.
Okay.
Then we have... I'm trying to grab this. Then we have Endgame.
Which sounds like a final album.
It's from 2009. And has... The only change for the lineup is Chris Broderick on guitar. And it's often regarded as a high point of the post-hiatus material. And I would agree with that, to the point that I would give it an A.
Wow. Okay.
Chris Broderick does play off well with Dave Mustaine. And it fires on all cylinders. And there's a greater variety. It's a cohesive thrash album. And almost no second is wasted. Kind of like Rust in Peace. I would still put Rust in Peace higher than this, obviously. Right. But this puts up a good fight. This album is also kind of political. Just wanted to mention that.
All
right. I have a few highlights of this one. This Day We Fight, 44 minutes. The Hardest Part of Letting Go, Sealed with a Kiss. Head Crusher, How the Story Ends, and The Right to Go Insane.
44 minutes isn't 44 minutes long.
No. Again, 44 minutes, like, the content can be a little controversial, but it's still a banger song. You don't have to agree with it, but it's a banger song. You know?
Yeah, you don't have to agree with the lyrics, yeah.
Yeah. There are plenty of times where I don't agree with the lyrics, but the song still kicks ass. Just the instrumentation is good.
Yeah. Go with your strengths.
Yeah, you just can't deny it sounds good.
Right.
Okay, then we have 13, which has the same lineup as Endgame, except David Ellefson comes back.
Yeah, when did James Lament go? All right.
The interesting thing about 13 is it has a combination of new material and previously unfinished material.
Okay.
There was some older material that was incomplete as demos, so they decided for this one, let's actually finish that.
All right.
Which is one reason to listen to this would be you get to hear that material in its final form. The song Sudden Death was originally recorded for Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, and the song Never Dead was originally recorded for the game Never Dead. However, I wanted to note that the single and album versions of Sudden Death were mixed differently because they had different producers.
Okay.
The single/Guitar Hero version had Andy Snep, hope I didn't mispronounce that, and the album version was mixed by Johnny K.
Oh.
I prefer the single version by a country mile.
Okay.
I gave this album a C.
Okay.
Because it's kind of a let down compared to Endgame's sound. It's not bad, but it's kind of a disjointed mixture of material. So, as such, the album feels more forgettable.
Okay.
Also, there was kind of a point off for they should have just included the single version of Sudden Death.
How did you hear the single version of Sudden Death?
Guitar Hero.
Okay.
And still, the highlights for me were Sudden Death, Public Enemy No. 1, Never Dead, and New World Order.
All right.
And then we have Super Collider.
All right.
This was from 2013 and has the same lineup as 13. It includes a cover of Cold Sweat by Thin Lizzy.
Okay.
And this was an attempt at creating a radio-friendly sound to show the label that they could do it. And because of that, it is often considered the post-hiatus equivalent to Risk.
Okay.
I didn't like this album very much when I listened to it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I still didn't like it very much when I re-listened to it.
Okay.
It's, if you will, it slides back into the sound of the 90s era, but not as strong.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a solid opener with Kingmaker, but the songs are mostly boring and forgettable. Not that the playing is poor,
right.
Just I don't really remember too much of the songs after hearing them again. So this is one of the Megadeth albums ever made. So it's a D for me.
All right.
The highlights for me were still Kingmaker and Cold Sweat.
Okay, not as many highlights either.
Yeah. And then after that, we got Dystopia.
Okay.
Which has a lineup change. It has Kiko Loureiro on guitar and Chris Adler on drums. It also includes a cover of Foreign Policy by Fear.
Okay.
punk band.
Yeah, I know that. I just don't know the song.
All right. Okay, so this album is also pretty political, and you don't have to agree with it. I don't agree with all of it personally, but it's still one of the best post-hiatus albums.
Okay.
Because the album is just a banger from start to finish. This also comes close to hitting the highs of Megadeth's career.
Okay.
So it's a immediate and dramatic improvement over Super Collider, to the point that I gave it an A.
Wow.
The only issue, it's very listenable. The only issue I had was some of the political views in the lyrics. I just didn't agree with all of them, even if I liked the instrumentation, which at least kind of made up for it. And there's also a good variety of topics, anyway.
Okay.
So it's not just politics.
All right.
The highlights for me were The Threat is Real, Dystopian Post-American World, and Foreign Policy. Again, don't agree with all the content.
Yeah.
The album is still a banger.
The song titles just sort of radiate political. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still wanted to make it clear.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's fine. You don't have to agree with it.
Yeah. There's plenty of albums you can listen to that you don't have to agree with, and that's fine.
Right.
Okay, then there's The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead. This is actually a lenticular cover on top of this.
Okay.
Because Target Edition had that, and now it's just kind of floating around. It doesn't fit in the case. So it's Sick, the Dying, and the Dead.
Uh-huh.
This has a different drummer, Dirk Verburen. During production, David Ellefson was let go over allegations that I don't want to get into.
Okay.
As a result, his bass parts were removed and re-recorded by Steve DiGiorgio from Testament, although James Lomenzo would rejoin the band during this time and be credited as the bassist.
Okay.
So Lomenzo was credited for bass, but Steve DiGiorgio actually recorded the bass parts on this.
Oh. Okay.
It's more of a session musician.
Right. It's kind of weird that you would still credit somebody in the band that.
Yeah. Well, he was still credited as the bassist as part of the personnel.
Okay.
It also has guest vocals on Night Stalkers. The guest vocals were by Ice-T.
Surprise.
And the Target Edition, which I have here, includes a cover of This Planet's on Fire, Burn in Hell by Sammy Hagar. And Sammy Hagar provides guest vocals on the cover.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So you get to hear Mustaine and Hagar
sing together.
Yeah. Oh. Did I say this was from 2022?
I don't know if you did.
Well, it's from 2022.
Okay.
So, personally, I gave this a B because it's still a thrash album. It's just to me it was underwhelming in sound compared to Dystopia. And there are still some great riffs and good songs, but still plenty that just didn't click with me.
Okay.
I think some people kind of oversold it.
Okay. That's possible.
Yeah. But I thought the members were still really good in their roles. And Dirk Verburen showed his skill as a drummer, which helped build the foundation for the final lineup.
Okay.
Highlights for me were Sick, the Dying, and the Dead, Dogs of Chernobyl, and Mission to Mars. Mission to Mars is basically how much Dave Mustaine wants to be an astronaut.
Okay.
It's kind of silly, but I actually liked it. There's actually plenty of cheesy material on Megadeth throughout, but throughout the discography. But it's really Megadeth without some cheese.
Okay.
And then finally, we have Megadeth. I also have the Cyber Army exclusive version, which is this, but it's black, and instead of fire, it's more digital.
Yeah, it came with a book. Is that the one?
Then I also have the earbook
Okay.
version, which is the size of a vinyl.
Yeah.
So this is from 2026.
Okay.
And it has Mustaine, Lomenzo, Verbeeren on drums, and the guitarist, Timu Montiasari.
Okay.
I hope I pronounced that correctly.
And apologies, Timu, if we didn't.
This is their final album, and their 17th. It was also the first Megadeth album to debut at number 1 on the Billboard 200, which is a big accomplishment.
Right.
And a good way to close out. Notably features a cover of Ride the Lightning by Metallica, which he co-wrote. Mustaine covered that song as a closing the circle moment to pay tribute to his former band and show that he respects them.
Okay.
He's been kind of hot and cold with them over the decades, but he's trying to mend fences.
Okay.
And there are also 2 bonus tracks are distributed between 2 different releases of this.
Right.
The Target Edition, which this is, contains the track Bloodlust, and the Expanded Digital Deluxe Edition, which I was dumb enough to buy, had Nobody's Hero.
Okay.
The reason for all the different variations and stuff is it helped it get to number 1.
Right. Well, you do what you have to do.
Okay, so I have seen different opinions on this album.
Okay.
But I first listened to it through the theatrical screening of Megadeth Behind the Mask,
Right.
which was kind of a combination of extended interview and listening party.
Okay.
And the theater was a really good environment. Excuse me, for the music.
Yeah, a lot of speakers in the theater.
Yeah, so I liked it when I heard it in the theater. Then I waited to get my physical copy. I listened to pretty much every track multiple times by now to really get into it. And I'm sure people would disagree with this ranking, but I gave it an A.
Okay.
You can hear their history throughout. There's some thrash, but there's also kind of 90s Megadeth in there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good combination of the two. And I personally thought that the lineup was very strong to close out on, and this was a very solid final album overall. And I actually really liked the cover of Ride the Lightning.
Okay.
Dave Mustaine's vocals as a 64-year-old cancer survivor,
Right.
who also had a neck fusion at one point, obviously aren't as good as James Hetfield's original vocals, but that's not really a fair comparison because that was a 20-year-old, healthy young 20-year-old. This is an old man, but the instrumentation was really good, and I actually liked how the solo was. It was a little bit faster than originally played, but it was still very close to what Kirk Hammett played. It was clear he was being very respectful towards his former band. Highlights for me were Tipping Point, I Don't Care, Let There Be Shred, Obey the Call, and Ride the Lightning.
Okay.
As for the bonus tracks, they're not bad, but I thought what was on the album was still a solid lineup.
Now, every group at some point says final album.
Yeah.
And very few of them actually stop.
Yeah.
Do you think this is for sure the final?
Yes, because Dave Mustaine has, I did not write this down, what it was specifically, but he has a hand condition that causes one or more of his fingers to bend inward.
Uh-huh.
So that is starting to affect his ability to play guitar.
Okay.
So he won't be able to play as well as he does with Megadeth for too much longer.
Right.
So he was trying to go out on his terms.
Right.
Go out with a bang, final album, final tour, which he says will last 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And after that, he would hang up his guitar, at least for Megadeth.
Okay.
He still has floated the idea of a solo album, and he still isn't quite sure what he wants to do after Megadeth, but still wants to be involved in music somehow. Actually, the song "The Last Note" is kind of about how this is the end for him, and he was going to go out his way.
Do you think there'll be a live album out of this tour?
If he's smart, yes. I think it would be. I think that would be great.
There's a trend. It seems a lot of bands record every concert, and hey, you went to that? Hey, you can buy that as a live album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metallica does that.
Right.
Megadeth does not do that. There are some live albums. I have some of them, like Live in Buenos Aires and Unplugged in Boston,
Right.
which was acoustic set.
Uh-huh.
That was unique.
The Who did that when we
Yeah,
saw them. They,
recorded every stuff.
except for when we saw them right after Entwistle died, they did not record that one. After that, they recorded them, and then we saw them again, and we got that one. But,
Yeah.
All right. So
I was all of Megadeth.
So if somebody was like, I want to listen to Megadeth, what's the album I should buy?
Rest in peace.
All right.
If you only listen to one, rest in peace.
And is there any album that you should lay down and avoid, as Python would say?
Super Collider.
Okay.
It's some people like it. I just don't.
All right. Well, thank you. It's a lot of listening you've done.
Yes, I did. Also, my favorite song is Hangar 18.
Okay.
Because it's got 11 solos in it. That's not why. It's how well Dave Mustaine and Marty Friedman build off each other. Kind of like those solos are call and answer.
Oh, that's cool. 11 of them, though? That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all really good solos.
And how long is the song?
5-6
minutes? Or?
I'm going to look this up real
Okay.
quick. Oh, one of my other favorite songs is Back in the Day.
Okay.
Because that was my introduction to Megadeth, and also I just like it.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain this. Just
How'd you hear it?
Duck Dodgers.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah. Hangar 18 is 5 minutes long.
11 solos. Wow.
Yep.
Okay. Quite a lot.
It's how
the
solos play off each other that elevates it.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you for listening to all the albums and telling us about them.
Yeah. So if you are watching this on YouTube and you like it, leave a like. Subscribe if you want to see more. Leave a comment below if you have any thoughts of your own about Megadeth's discography.
Right.
And if you are looking for a silent vintage toy, use our code MarioNeli to save 10% off your purchase at getono.com.
All right. So until next time, I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
And you've been on the air with Power Squared.